college, high school professor. He taught me about everything I know.
You
No, my
pay
brother
me.
Ethan. My brother Ethan, EJ, as you guys know already, and we're finally doing a live stream. We were supposed to do it like an hour ago, but of course, technical issues when you're joining something new for the first time, and so now we're gonna be doing it here. So basically, the idea is just to kind of introduce what we're doing exactly. Is we have a bunch of like trivia questions here on my screen, and we'll be reading these trivia questions to each other. And instead of giving the real answer, we're going to be giving fake answers to each other. So the goal is to make each other laugh, and which is either going to come off very, very cringe or just wildly hilarious. And you can't really tell until you actually try it. So if you guys want to join along with us, then drop a comment, tell us if you can hear the audio, tell us if you're enjoying it, give your own fake answers, and yeah, first time going live on, well, technically the first time going live on YouTube. So yeah, we'll jump into it. And by the way, EJ, how are you doing, man? Today?
Uh, yes. I've been well, no, I mean, honestly, my
No.
physical condition has not been good. I've been
Yeah.
physically ill for over a month now. Um, not fun, not fun.
Not fun.
Yeah. I mean, my wife was like, she told me yesterday, she was like, I was just complaining. I was just venting. I was just like, I'm so frustrated about feeling this way. I don't want to feel this way anymore. And she's just like, yeah, whenever you're
Hmm.
sick, your quality of life declines. And I was just like, what
Yep.
do you, and I was at the point where like, even like someone trying to have empathy with me, I was just like, talking about my quality of life decline. I don't even know what are you talking. I was just like freaking out. And it was like, yeah, your quality of life decline. That was awesome.
Case in point.
Mm,
Dude,
literally,
getting
quite literally.
getting sick is like one of the worst parts of life, dude. Over here in Korea, like it's moving into springtime, and so
Mm.
I was in the classroom the other day, and then like I started having like some nose congestion. I was like, what's going on? And then I was like, wait a second, there's sunshine outside, the window's open, like spring is coming.
Spring is coming.
No,
Yeah.
yeah,
No, you
spring is
guys
coming.
are from the cherry blossoms? Yeah,
Oh
pretty
yeah,
sure.
that's true. They're actually gonna be blooming here really, really soon.
Yeah,
So I need to make
exactly.
plans to go see them. I actually
Yeah,
never like
honestly, I'm a little jelly of that. I mean, that's nice.
Yeah, but dude, I don't know about I can't remember for you. You went at least one time, 2 times if you count the first time we were in Korea. But, like, for the all the time I've lived here in Korea, in Seoul, I mean, rather, in Seoul, like, I think I've never gone out to see the cherry blossom.
Nah, nah. I mean,
I always forget to
excuse me. I don't know
prioritize it.
about there in Seoul because I know that you guys have less uh tree life, but like down on Jeju, like you don't really have to go anywhere to see the cherry
You don't have
blossoms. You
to.
just walk around. There's just like some
That's
pretty little
true.
parks in your neighborhood and stuff, and it's just a lot more peaceful and cozy. Things like that. But no, I appreciate seeing that kind of color. I mean, just I think it was yesterday I pulled up to work and I
Mhm.
realized that the tree I always park under to give my vehicle some shade was like, yeah, it was covered with all of its little blossoms.
Aw.
And I mean, it's just a stupid little tree. I mean, like in the summertime, it's just going to be green.
Stupid little tree.
Well, I mean, it's just going to
Just
be green. It's not like it's going to have pretty flowers or anything. But like, you can see like
gotcha.
the little blossoms, and it's like, oh, that's so nice. It has, it's springtime. So yeah, I think enjoying those
That's
little
true.
things are nice. Because that has been very gray. The month of February here in the States, most places it's just pretty much gray, like rain, cloudy
'Cause
all
it's
the time.
still in, like, the winter season technically, right?
Yeah, 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 exactly,
Okay. Haven't
exactly.
transitioned to spring yet. Yeah.
Yeah,
We've Yeah, we've honestly had, like, really great weather even throughout winter, like, it was still, like, really sunshiny, even though the temperatures were fucking extreme,
yeah,
it was still, like, a lot
yeah.
of sunshine every
Very,
day.
very cold.
Very, very, very cold. Very, very, very cold, no doubt about it. But yeah, I'll try to see the cherry blossoms here soon. Got some other stuff as well, like, I'm going to an EDM festival this upcoming weekend, so
Mm,
looking forward to that, and then some friends are coming out to visit also, so
fun,
March.
fun.
It is fun actually, yeah. Like, I think you might remember Jom. Jom from the Philippines. He's gonna come over and visit
Yes.
Korea in like the next 2 or 3 weeks, and then Cora's gonna come out here as well. Cora's visiting Korea, by the way. Yeah,
Wow,
that's later in May,
that's
dude. Cora's
incredible.
Cora's gonna be here in May.
That's
Incredible, right?
incredible. She's gonna love it. I already know.
Yeah, is it? I think it's her first time here. I think,
Yeah, I'm
which is
pretty sure.
surprising because Cora jumps around so much. But I think it's her first time gonna be
She's
in
busy.
Korea.
She keeps herself so busy. That's why she doesn't really have any time to do anything.
I don't know how she makes time to do stuff, man. Cause like, she went to, like, a Coldplay concert, like, in the last month or so,
Wow.
and, she's jumped over to France a few times, and I think a
I
few
mean,
other
not my
countries as
cup of
well.
tea, but, you know, I can respect the hustle.
What? Cora's Lifestyle or Coldplay?
No, Coldplay concerts.
Coldplay is weird, dude. They're weird, like, the way they've, like, progressed their sound and style to be and they're still relevant even to this day. It's been,
Yeah.
like, 20 years for them, I think, or more.
Um, Weird thing, they have a song that they did
Yeah.
with, I think it had a feature from Train on it.
Really?
Remember that? Yeah, remember that really old,
Of
like,
course I know
adult
Train.
male boy band? Yeah, 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 yeah.
Adult male boy band. You mean Backstreet Boys nowadays or New Kids on the Block?
Backstreet Boys, yeah, no, 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 yeah. It has a feature from Train on it, it's weird.
Um, I'm not seeing it here, dude.
They play it at my work, and so I looked it up, and, yeah, I don't know if it's
What the
maybe a
heck?
mashup that they play at my work or something, but it's, like, very odd.
If you find out what the song is called, I would wanna hear that.
Oh,
Yeah, but I
yeah,
feel like
absolutely.
Coldplay's newer music that doesn't sound at all like, what it used to sound like a long time ago. But it's not a bad thing because I actually enjoy their newer sound.
Coldplay?
It has, like yeah, they're newer, like, they have more electronic influence in their music, I think, nowadays. It feels more like a uplifting, almost like CCM type feel to it. Or like
Yeah.
a festival. It's
No,
not like a festival, like a end of summer festival. It's, like, very rising and uplifting. I appreciate that.
play for Coldplay, I remember really liking, um, what was that song? The I
Viva la
give
Vida.
to you. Yeah, remember
Death and
really
All of Her
liking Viva La
Friends, I think the
Vida.
album was called? Yeah.
Yeah, and then absolutely nothing else. I don't really know anything else.
Nuh-uh. Nuh-uh. Scientist.
Uh,
Scientist was a good one. Very melancholic, but Scientist,
okay, they also
Clocks,
did Fix You, right? They had a
Yellow,
song called Fix You.
Fix You. Mhm. Mhm.
Yeah, I remember Fix You. The second
What's the other
I
one?
feel like one of my friends liked that song, and I
Okay.
listened to it once or twice, but I can't remember, like, the melody or anything about it.
Fix You? When you
No,
try
The
your
Scientist.
best.
The
The
Scientist.
Scientist?
Yeah.
We're going back to the start. The music video is, like, in reverse. Come on, there's no way
Yeah.
you don't remember that song. Bro, what the hell? It was, like, I think
So,
in yeah.
I think that, music isn't like I
Mm,
think music resonates with me depending on how I feel at the time that I'm listening to that song specifically,
okay.
and
I gotcha.
remember more so the emotions that the song, like, brings out in me rather than the lyrics or the melody or any specific detail about
Mm,
the song itself, if that makes sense.
'kay.
So, like, you had brought up recently how we used to listen to, Hudson Mohawk's Indian Steps
Yeah.
a lot, like, at a certain period of our life. I
Scientist was around
completely
that
forgot
same time, so
I completely forgot that song existed.
yeah.
So, I went back and I listened to it a couple of times on my drive to work. Yeah, I listened to it again, and it's weird because, I mean, yeah, I mean, it's still a banger. It's a great song,
Mm.
obviously, like, you know, evokes a lot of good emotions. The funny thing is, though, that, like, when I listen to it now, I actually relate to it a lot more than I did back then, but I
Oh,
relate to it from
really?
the opposite side. Yeah, but I relate to it from the opposite side. I feel like I've become the person that he's singing about. Like the secondary person in
Mm.
the song, not the first person perspective. Because that song's written from the first person perspective, and I think I used to try to relate or attempt to relate to the singer's perspective,
Okay. Mhm. Yeah, her
but
name is,
now that I listen to it, I relate to a lot more the secondary person's perspective.
interesting. For anyone who doesn't know, there's a song called "Indian Steps" by an artist named Hudson Mohawk and featuring the singer Anonhi, I think is how you say her name. Um, Anonhi she's really interesting. I never really dug into her music before, because actually, like, years ago, back in 2016, when we listened to the song so much, they didn't even have Anonhi's name on the song at that point.
No.
But then they updated it a few years later and put her name on there, and, she's pretty interesting. Her music, she has, like, a lot of very emotional music. It's always very melodramatic, much like in the song Indian Steps, like, her other stuff is also very melodramatic and very
Mhm,
grand. She has a song
mhm.
called, I think it's called 4 Degrees, I think it's called, and it's literally a song about, like, how the world's dying because the temperature is rising, and it's basically just like Indian steps, but it's talking about, like, how we're all dying and, like, it sounds very glorious, but the music's obviously very but the words are actually very, like, we're dying and
I like
everyone's
that.
dying.
I
Yeah,
like
I
that.
actually, yeah, listen to it. Check it out later when you
4
want to.
degrees. Okay, cool.
I
Yeah.
think it's something degrees, it could be 6 degrees or 4 degrees, I honestly don't know. I'll give it a look right now. It's only 4 degrees. Something like that. Yeah.
No, I think I
It is, it's
love
4
music.
degrees, yeah. 4
I love
degrees, yeah.
music that, the lyrics are contrary to the melody, where, like, the melody can be
Mhm,
extremely
mhm.
upbeat or extremely sad, but the lyrics are either extremely sad or extremely upbeat, one way or the other,
Dude, that is
and,
my whole I am obsessed with that idea of, like, opposites being interconnected. I'm obsessed with that
mhm,
idea. Obsessed
mm.
with it. Alright, we're getting off track, like, let's, jump to the game. Since see how it goes. Alright, so is the we know already, fake answers only. I'll keep track of, like, in my notebook right, I'll put down the score as we go along right here.
So, funny thing about this is
Yeah,
that
yeah,
even if
yeah.
we were trying to do real answers, we wouldn't be any good at it.
I wonder though, because just for reference, I did like steal the game from Smosh Games, and they stole it from another channel as well. And the funny thing in the video of on Smosh Games is that as they're reading the questions, the answers weren't that difficult actually. Um,
Okay. So it's like
yeah,
basic level trivia.
I mean it's hit and miss. They actually commented like on the video themselves. They're like these are like the easiest Trivial Pursuit questions ever because like notoriously Trivial Pursuit is like fucking hard.
Yeah. So like anytime in a TV show, where there's like a bar where like they do a bar crawl or whatever, and then they'll play Trivial Pursuit or
Mm,
pop quiz like, at the bar, right? And I always try to guess, like I always try to answer the questions. I never know a single one. I never know a single one. It's always like really obscure, difficult things.
dude, seriously, it was so much fun to watch those games, but like I guess it's the same kind of fascination kind of with, like, murder shows, isn't it, though? Where, like, you wanna become the detective and try to figure out what's going on and why do they do this, why do they do that? In the same way with trivia games where, like, be honestly, like, like, maybe 10% of the answers, but, like, the fact that there makes you feel smarter and you feel like you're, like, growing your brain just by watching it, you know? You feel
Oh,
educated. You feel
yeah.
educated. You're like, "Oh, yeah, I watch,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Jeopardy every night,"
Well,
you know?
that's just the education entertainment, whatever it's called. Edutainment or whatever.
Mm. Val said depends. She's good at trivia depending on the trivia. What category, Val? What category are you best at? Jeopardy, I'm not that smart. I get one answer every few months. It's amazing that you watch it though, Val. I Jeopardy's a fun show to watch. It's like that. It's probably like a daily schedule for some people. But
Jeopardy is a lot of fun.
it's so much fun to watch. I don't even know why. I'm not sure why, but it just is. All right, you want to ask the first question? Actually, you know what? I'm gonna give you the first question. I'm gonna give you the very first question. Let me find a good one. Here we go. Okay, you ready?
Alright, go
You
for
know,
it.
okay, all right. Question number one. Whose song "Clubland" begins his 1981 album "Trust"?
Whose song "Clubland"
Begins
did
his 1981 album "Trust"?
wasn't that Phil Collins?
Fuck, dude.
Nice.
There's no wrong answer to that, dude. Like anything you said would have been funny. Anything you said.
Cyndi
Rick Astley,
Lauper, Phil Collins, Susan
John Denver.
Boyle.
John Denver would have been so funny. The real answer
Okay, so
is
here's why it's funny that it
yeah.
was Phil Collins.
It's not
Elvis
Phil
Costello.
Collins,
Okay,
but
cool.
glad you chose that though.
No, the reason
Elvis
that it's
Costello. Yeah.
R. Kelly, get out of town.
Oh, in the show. Hey, yo, Val. Okay, we need to get Val on here for real.
So so that's why no, Phil Collins is funny because he literally would produce a song called Clubland, and that he would just go gangster for an album and not even like unapologetically. And it would just be like, "This is who I am now." And it's like, "No, Phil, you're not."
This
And
is who
it's
I
just
am
that's
now.
so insensitive. Like you can't just stop. And he's just like, "No, this is me at Clubland." Did you know he would? That's just the kind of person that Phil Collins is. That's why we dislike him so much.
Oh, man. He's like, yo, Phil I don't even know what Phil Collins' like legacy is because like he was definitely before my time, but like he's one of those names who everyone knows about, but like for
So
s-
he has a lot of songs from movies. One of his
well, I mean
popular hits.
like I feel like what it is like you don't know if Phil Collins is like the singer or Phil Collins is like the Tarzan OST singer, depending on like what generation you're from, you know?
Yeah, yeah. He did, "In the Air Tonight" is his
His
song that's
biggest one.
given
Right,
legendary status.
right. But he wouldn't be classified as a one-hit wonder though, because he definitely had other stuff. I don't know about it. Like I said, it was
Yeah,
just before my time. I
makes
was
sense.
never a big fan of his sound as well, but maybe I dug into it more. By the way, besides Phil Collins, what the hell is Elvis Costello doing having an album called Clubland? What is what? What's the theme on that? I only know Elvis Costello because Nick Jonas was such a big fan of him. He would always talk about him in interviews.
Right? Okay. Where is the largest natural amphitheater in the US?
The largest natural amphitheater? Probably your mom's house.
There's only yes, there's only one answer to this question. Congratulations.
Man, good job not cracking at that one.
I was hoping that you were gonna get it, is
Did
all
you?
it was.
Okay.
I was
That's the
hoping
problem
that
here,
you were
man, is
gonna get
that we're gonna be like mind reading each other to see if we get like
Mhm,
what we're thinking about or not. You didn't laugh
mhm.
though. You smiled, but you didn't laugh, so there's no
Yep,
point for me on that one.
there's no point for you on that one.
I feel like I actually know the answer to that one though. The largest amphitheater in the world, in states. I don't even
Well, it's
know.
not
I'm
the
just thinking
place
of
where
like
they dropped that bomb.
red. Is it Red Rocks? Is Red Rocks it or the Red
Number
Rocks
40.
Amphitheater? Is it Minnesota? I don't know. You laughed at that one.
Yeah,
You laughed at that
that's
one.
great.
Phil Collins is now just known as Lily Collins' dad, said Val. Number 45's brain.
That's what I was
I
laughing
just
at.
got it.
That's
I
what I
just
was
got it. That's hilarious. That's
well, no,
hilarious.
seriously though,
What's the real answer though?
there is
Hmm.
a crater in the US, that was caused that's
Oh,
believed
a
to have been caused
natural amphitheater. Okay, so we're talking like maybe like the Grand Canyon or something like that. Is that right?
yeah, like giant holes.
In the ground. Los Angeles, California? No. Are they talking about like an dude, I'm so confused. When I
I
hear
think maybe
amphitheater,
your
I don't even know what
think
that means.
yeah, I think maybe it's just your vocabulary that's poor.
It might be my it's definitely my vocabulary because like I know that there's the venues that are called blah 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 amphitheater. But then it
Yeah.
says natural amphitheater. I'm like, what's the actual meaning of that word? Is it like a crater or is it like a building? Someone educate me because I'm messed up over here. Oh man. Okay.
Amphitheater is a building function. It's an open air venue used for entertainment, performances, and sports.
But I guess there's one that's natural in LA that they made
So yeah,
into
it's
a
just like a giant crater in the ground,
mm.
which is what I thought it was.
All right, EJ, you
But
ready?
yeah.
Who was the male star of the 1997 film Titanic?
Okay, so the issue with this one is that the real answer to this question is just as much of a joke as any joke you could make because of recent events with the actual male star of the Titanic.
I'm not gonna laugh. You can say anything. I'm biting my tongue.
So I'm trying to remember because I know that there's a scene.
Oh, you haven't even said anything.
I know that there's a scene where
Mm.
it's Kate Hudson, right? He paints Kate Hudson,
Mhm. Mhm. Yep.
and it's like a
Yep.
really sexy scene. I'm
Yeah,
pretty
he does. He
sure.
does that. He does it. Never seen the
Who
movie, but
is
I'm
he?
sure he does.
He's that
No.
gentle guy. He wears
No, you don't.
glasses.
Stop building it up. Mm-mm.
George Takeo, that's who he is. Now I remember. With his pudgy little fingers, his gentle mind, and he's painting all of Kate's supple
Gosh
curves.
damn, boy. Fucking hell. Dude, you took so like you had no answer, right? You didn't have an answer?
No, I knew. That's who I wanted. That's who I wanted to say because I saw
Yeah,
that
you had
question from earlier.
no, you already knew?
Yeah.
Fucking hell, that build up. I thought you were stalling to get a good answer for yourself. Oh man.
No,
Fuck, dude, you
see,
didn't even say anything and I was laughing already. Go ahead.
well, okay, so questions like that are really hard because you either go like the controversial route where you do someone who just like is just completely inappropriate and you're just like, oh man,
Mhm.
that's just wrong. But you really gotta really
Distasteful.
gotta tell the yeah, you really gotta excuse me.
Dirk
Yeah,
Diggler.
you really gotta feel the crowd on that one because who's the guy Kevin from House of Cards
Oh,
and
no. Kevin Spacey.
Kevin Spacey. Yeah. I feel like if Kevin Spacey had been in Titanic, the movie would have been a lot more like historically accurate from like the type of people that were on that actually like took the voyage of the Titanic. Because
Really?
I don't feel like there was a lot of like, you know, these handsome young suave dudes that were just like, oh, let me paint you naked in the bathtub. It's like I don't feel
Oh,
like anything like that
gosh.
was happening on the Titanic. Probably a lot of people were seasick. It was, you know, it was a poorly produced boat. There was probably a lot of rocking. They're just like, oh yeah, I'm and also, like, it was such a long time ago, I don't feel like cruises were that nice of a thing to be on, you know? I feel like cruises are only nice now because we have so many modern amenities. Back on that Titanic, I really don't feel like it was that great of an experience, so
And you still couldn't get me to go on a cruise. Like, I still wouldn't go on one nowadays, even with it's like as they developed.
yeah, even with unlimited alcohol.
Especially not with unlimited alcohol. I do not want to be trapped in a boat with a bunch of drunk people. Dude, that sounds like
Bunch of drunk
awful.
people.
That
I think
sounds
that was
freaking
also the name of
awful.
one of Phil Collins' albums.
No, I think that's the sound. I think that's the name of one of Joe Jonas's band's albums. Drunk on the boat. After Sex on the Beach, they moved into Drunk on the Boat. It's like Sex on the Beach, Drunk on the Boat.
It was Cake on the Beach,
No,
wasn't it?
no, it's Sex on the Beach, isn't it?
Mm,
You turn. I
interesting.
think they. I think it was like maybe that was an edit. Maybe. Oh man, dude, Cake by the Ocean. Oh man, I'm. This is
Cake by the
weird.
Ocean, there we go, Cake by the Ocean, there we go. Because the expression "Cake by the Ocean" literally means to have sex on the beach.
Yeah. So why everybody? I thought they actually literally said that though. I thought they literally said that. I don't even know the name of that band, but it's still like a popular song though. Dance was the name of the band. Okay. Cake. Ah, can't spell. Yeah, you're right. It's called Cake by the Ocean. 2015. I was thinking of the song because like one of my kids used it on their Instagram story, and I was like, oh gosh, okay. They were also singing. They were singing. They were also singing. What is that song by Sam Smith? Body Shop or
Unholy?
whatever. Unholy.
Unholy.
They
Yeah.
started singing that in the classroom. They were like, "Mommy and Daddy," like I was like, "Oh, oh, oh, it's not. Oh,
Oh, no,
okay,
no, it's the Kids
okay."
Bop version. It's the Kids Bop version.
The kids out version. Okay.
No, 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 there's a, I saw,
Doing
there's
something
a
educational.
no, there's a couple on Instagram, and they make, like, fake Kids Bop versions, and they did
Okay.
that one. It's like, "Mommy don't know, daddy loves her a lot because they have a strong relationship, and they love each other a lot." And
Oh, oh, it's so wholesome.
it was, like, the most wholesome Kids Bop version ever. Because Kids
That'd be
Bops were never
another.
that much of a bop back in the day, so
We should honestly we should do another live stream where we like make Kids Bop lyrics. Like we'll take a song and like change it to Kids Bop version. That would be so much fun. That would be fun.
dude, Kids Bop, it's a very interesting phenomenon. The Kids
It's a
Bop, the whole thing.
phenomenon. How has it gone? How
Very
has it existed for so long? I feel like there's not much time left on the project. I feel like it's got to be. If it's still alive, but it should be dying by now. I feel like.
There's no way, dude. There's songs that like there's trends that have just started like 2 weeks ago that already have Kids Bop songs. It's one of those industries of scale that it's just like it's like Hydra, you cut off one head, another 2 more grow in its place, so
The thing though is that like I just feel like I feel like there's been a shift in society nowadays where like back in the early and mid 2000s when Kids Bop really kind of had a little bit more influence like
yeah.
maybe it's just my I mean obviously my upbringing definitely like influences this but I do feel like there was a bit more conservatism socially speaking and I think nowadays like that's really kind of waned or would be waxed kind of like waxed rather it's gotten smaller because back at the time like even like on Disney Channel like they would even I think you remember this like Disney Channel was famous for never saying "Oh my God," Nickelodeon would say,
Mm.
"Oh my god." Disney Channel never said, "Oh my god." Like, it's like a really small, inconsequential thing, but I feel like it was kinda like a sign of the times as well, where Disney was trying to play it way more conservative and family friendly, and, um, and I think Kid Bop was kinda like also like an extension of that kinda conservative mindset that was pervasive in the States in the mid-2000s. I could be totally wrong, I'm just guessing here.
It's, so a lot of times what happens with organizations like that is when there's values that are in place within the organization from its inception or from its I'm sorry, its conception, like that.
Inception? Yeah, conception. You're right, keep going.
No, it's a conception of the company or the organization.
Yeah,
And so like Walt Disney like started back at a time where family values were based primarily around um Christianity and the nuclear family and all of these things. And so like Disney movies, like the actual Disney movies, Cinderella, Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs, reproductions of fairy tales and stuff, were like classic stories that people knew that at that point had been around for several hundred years, or at least a couple hundred years. Excuse me, my history's not that strong. It's interlaced with like values that people at the time held as important. And so that's why like the organization of the Walt Disney Company was founded on those values, and so they'd never really changed because there was never any like generational shakeup excuse me, of the organization itself. I think the closest they came to that was when they had a CEO change
in the
in the
90s.
late 90s,
Yeah.
but I mean, he never really like
Even
his
that was
idea
so
never really
silly,
gained
it's yeah.
traction. It was one of
I
those
feel like it was
things.
overhyped as well.
Mm,
I feel like it was
mm.
overhyped. It was the same thing, the same kind of rage over like Harry Potter or even Pokemon, where people felt like it was pushing the bar, but like if you look back at it now, it's like that was nothing. It's like
No,
nothing.
and I mean, okay, so another important thing is like that just shows how strong organizational planning is and what a crucial part of building your business it is because like Microsoft, it's been years now since Bill Gates stepped down as CEO.
Mhm.
Nothing has changed about Microsoft. They're the same company, essentially. Like internally, like if you're an employee at Microsoft, you may be like, oh no, that's so wrong. So many things have changed in our organization. But like from the outside, like branding, product placement, yeah, user experience, none of those things have changed within the Microsoft organization. And it doesn't really
Yeah.
matter who the CEO is. It takes absolutely years for user experience to change, just because of how strong organizational planning is. And it's kind of the same way with Disney. So like the Disney Channel that me and you experienced back in the early 2000s, that
Mhm.
was literally 70 years after Walt Disney, 70, 80 years after Walt Disney had originally, produced his first. And yet our experience with the Disney Channel itself was extremely similar to moms and dads watching, the early Disney animated movies back in the 1940s or 1950s. So, yeah, I mean, it's interesting, but like the values of, the founding people of the organization are kind of what determines what that organization looks like over time. So, yeah, definitely. They had those values might not have been as relevant, you know, 12, 14, 15 years ago, but it's not as relevant anymore.
Well, I think I was gonna say, like, I feel like the reason for that probably is a few things because I think first of all, I I need to have a fact check on this one. We need like a AI fact checker bot. Like, I'm curious to know, does Bill Gates still own the majority of Microsoft stock? Because like if that's the case, then he would still have a lot of say in what happens, even if he's not the CEO, because of controlling the stock. Like he would have his own, opinion on what goes on in the organization. And if people agree with him, of course, they would vote in his same favor of whatever he wants to do as well. So I feel like that would be the case for a lot of corporations. Is that even when you step down as CEO, if you're still the majority shareholder, you still get to kind of control the direction it goes in without having the responsibilities of a CEO. Additionally, I feel like being a CEO for a lot of people is like a job position, and there's very few visionaries. Like a visionary is someone who's going to step in and like change direction of the boat, but like a captain is just going to be someone who just like is the person who controls the boat. So yeah, I control the boat, but I'm not a visionary. I don't guide the boat, you know? I think it's also that's the reason like why we see a lot of people who take over companies and nothing changes is because like they're not a visionary. They don't have like a they don't have a different direction to take it in. They just want the position because it comes with influence and recognizable the fame part of it or the money part of it, like whatever it is, you know.
Mm,
People are questioning it right now because with YouTube's CEO Susan stepping down and new
mhm.
guy's gonna step into it, and they're kind of curious like if he's gonna make a lot of changes or just gonna keep the ship sailing in the same direction it's going already. Down
Keep the
here,
ship afloat.
mm, Val said, I think what keeps shifting is what we see as scandalous. Conservatives have largely remained conservative with some wiggle room. um, yeah, but that's exactly what I mean, though. Val is like, even what we consider scandalous. Like, I guess I'm not talking about conservative in terms of like politics, but more so in terms of like mindset. Having a conservative mindset versus having like a more liberal mindset apart from politics. And yeah, what was considered scandalous like years ago, back in the mid 2000s, would like not be considered as scandalous nowadays. It'd be way more accepted. I don't know. Anyway, I think it's your turn to read to me. So go ahead, EJ. Please give me that question right there in the middle.
I really wanted to.
Give it to me.
No, I think I'm gonna
Okay, I'll hold on to my answer and I can use it for a different
you
one.
use it. Here we go.
Okay,
Algophobia or algiophobia is the fear of what?
got it. Notice the difference between the algo and algiophobia. It's a very important point there to like answer to what's actually going on here. And I think as you guys can probably assume because of the algo part of it, which is very misleading. It's not connected to the actual answer itself. Algophobia is fear of having a baby boy, and algiophobia is fear of having a little baby girl. That's a pity laugh. Get out of here. That's a pity laugh. I don't even want to take that point. Fuck.
Okay, so here's why I laugh.
Why?
This is actually a real fear.
Do you actually know what that is?
No, no, no. I mean,
Okay. What
your
I'm
answer
saying.
is actually a real fear. I have that fear of both of them, of
Fear,
both sides.
fear of having a child. Okay. Ironically, I was discussing this with Zaye
Mm,
and her best friend last night.
mm.
They were talking
No, but
about
it
like
really
how
does. The algo and the algeo. I don't know
yeah.
why I pronounce it different because when I read the first one, I was like, I thought to myself, is that a "g" or is that a "j"? And I thought to myself, I'm just gonna go with the "g." But then I saw the "io" and my brain was like, no, that's a "j" sound. And so it was like I was
Well,
just like,
algophobia,
I
it's the fear of the algorithm, that's what it is.
mm,
Algorithm.
mm. So it's algophobia and algeophobia. I don't even know, but yeah, it
I
really
don't
does
know
sound
as
like
well,
a
but
gender.
look, there it is, guys. If anyone wants to take a guess in the comments, Val, what do you think it is? Algeo, fear of structure, fear of. Should we click? I'm gonna click on the answer to see what it is. We got pain, fear of pain. Oh, childbirth is painful. It's kind of connected. I wasn't too far off.
Well, I'm not the one having the baby, so.
Hey, you say that now. Fear of pain is the answer on that one. Interesting. Okay.
It feels a little unfair for me to have a fear of a pain of childbirth when I'm not the one that.
Hey, EJ, the
Yeah.
Kelvin scale is used
Mm.
to measure what?
So it's used to measure the amount of Kevin
Mhm.
Costner in any movie. So when you watch Superbad, you're like, okay, so what on the Kelvin scale, how
He's
much
not in
Kevin Costner is
Superbad.
in this movie? Is it 9 or a 10? And then you look at House of Cards, and you're like,
No, shut up,
okay,
shut up, shut up.
on the Kelvin scale, it's like, okay, that's a 10. That's a 10.
Shut the fuck up.
So that's
I'm
how
not gonna laugh.
you do.
Whew, am I safe?
I think you made it to that one.
Gosh damn, boy. Dude, the reason I
My
almost laughed at
knowledge of
that.
Kevin Costner movies really
No,
failed
no,
me
no.
there.
No, no, no. The reason that was so funny to me, the reason is because Kevin Costner is not in Superbad or in House of Cards. Kevin Spacey is in House of Cards.
No,
Superbad is a heist teen movie with Jonah Hill maybe,
no, yeah.
and them.
No, I know.
So, oh my
No, it's
god,
Michael Cera. It's Michael
yeah,
Cera
Michael
and
Cera.
Jonah Hill. Yeah. No, no, no,
Yeah,
no. Yeah. No, it's just we judge the movie like how much Kevin Costner's influence is in that movie. It's like, is there, what is it, is on the Kevin Costner scale.
it
That's
was like
why it's
so
funny because
close
he's
to
not
being
in any of
real.
the movies. He just has an influence on them. So much so that we've developed a
Oh,
scale to
oh
say
man.
how much influence Kevin Costner has on those
Sorry, it
movies.
just like came off as somebody who's like halfway educated. Somebody's like, "Oh yeah, I love Abraham Lincoln. He was such a great president." Like, "Oh really? Yeah, you're the first black president. I had a lot of respect for you, Abraham Lincoln." You
Yeah.
know, it's,
Yeah. I
it's
love
like
Abraham Lincoln.
wait. It's like you kind of no.
No, I legit don't know any Kevin Costner movies. I don't know any movie that Kevin Costner's been
Kevin
in.
Costner, Flashdance. Am I totally off on that?
Kevin
No,
Costner, Flashdance? That doesn't
no. I'm
sound
thinking.
right
I'm
at
sorry. I'm
all.
thinking of Kevin Bacon. I'm so sorry. Kevin Costner. I do not know who he
Wow,
is.
that
I'm so
was
sorry. I'm thinking Kevin
now
Bacon.
that was embarrassing.
And he was in Footloose. Fuck me, that was embarrassing as hell. Kevin Bacon was in Footloose, and I do not know anything about Kevin Costner. It's the
He's
measures. It
in The
measures the.
Bodyguard,
Oh, oh! I actually love that movie.
and
So
he's Superman's
embarrassing.
dad in Man of Steel.
Got it. By the way, for anyone who hasn't seen The Bodyguard, like I don't watch movies, but like I watched that movie because of Whitney Houston, and it's actually a genuinely fun movie. Flashdance fake answer. Exactly. Thank you, Val. Val said it measures the Kevin Bacon degrees of separation.
Greedy pricks.
But The Bodyguard is actually that's a pretty fun movie, actually. Obviously, it's like a cheap, celebrity making their film debut, whatever. I don't even know if it was
Yeah,
actually a film
exactly.
debut, but it was actually a good film, actually. It was pretty nice. Nice little fun rom-com.
Oh man, I actually don't know this one.
The Magnum PI one?
Yeah.
I saw it too. I was thinking of a good answer for that one. I don't think I have one.
Oh, here's a good one, Benji won't know.
Yeah.
In Greek mythology, who was Jason's wife?
Greek mythology, who was Jason's wife? Who was Jason's wife? Okay. It's a trick question because
Okay.
it's when they say Jason, they're actually talking about Jason Voorhees, and he did not have a wife. He killed people instead of marrying them. But he was obsessed with his mother, so it might say his mom. Maybe.
What if it said your mom?
I don't think it would, but we can. Dude, what the fuck? Like Jason? That's a fake answer, right? It's like no. Is that real?
So if I remember correctly, no, he was real.
What the hell? Medea. Oh, from Medea's
Jason
Big
Medea.
House.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay, so real talk.
Every Jason needs
Every
a Karen.
Okay, so real talk. Does Medea not sound like an up and coming TikTok rapper? I mean, like we have so many
Hmm.
like the trend for rappers, I feel like traditionally has been like the longest, most complicated name you could find was like your rap name. Like cereal boxes like to make fun of that, right? Where they're like
Yeah, yeah. They are your
future
name generator, rap name
whatever,
generator.
right? But I feel like rappers' names have been getting shorter and shorter
Hmm.
and like less complicated. And so I feel like Medea would be a really good name for like a TikTok rap star.
How about we make it more? How about we embrace the old ways? How about we call it like Medea the Moneymaker?
Medea somebody.
Yeah, and you can just like call me Medea for short.
Well, because I'm thinking like I don't know. I just feel like I feel like one. I don't know. Maybe not. I feel like you have Lil Baby, you have Yeezy, Medea. Like it would fit so perfectly.
Yay! Actually, he did legally change his name to Yay. Actually, he did legally change it to Yay. So
Dude,
that is
I
it's short.
I I
There's
I'm
been
so
conversation going
pissed off.
around because Drake mentioned interview that he said it carefully. He said he had begun to let the idea enter his brain somewhat to contemplate about retiring. It's like that's pretty close to how he worded it. So he didn't say he was thinking about it. He didn't say he was doing it. He just kind of said he'd let the idea seep into his brain to kind of acknowledge its existence. Interesting, huh?
So, there's so many Drake deepfake interviews on, like, social media, though.
Hmm.
It's really hard to tell, like, what's really Drake, because deepfake is so real now.
I'm gonna go like let's go fast mode on this one. Let's go like super fast. Like just go back and forth with questions. EJ, the plains of Abraham are located in which North American country?
North American country, the Plains of Abraham?
Correct.
It's gotta be in Alabama. If it's anywhere else, I don't know anything.
Canada. You know nothing.
Plains of Abraham. How is that not in Alabama? Like, it's literally like, there's nowhere else
How
that
is it
would
in
be.
America? It sounds like it'd be like somewhere else, like in the Middle East or something.
Yeah.
Go ahead, give me
Which
one.
popular method of brewing coffee requires the beans to be ground to a powder?
It'd be called snorting cocaine.
If you do not say snorting cocaine,
Yeah, you already knew, dude.
I
You
will
already
end this
knew.
relationship with you right now.
Hey EJ, who on board of the Enola Gay dropped the atomic bomb on Hiroshima?
Is that not Sam Smith? Am I it was either
Tom Ferriby.
Tom Farabee?
That's right. Who needed therapy?
Yeah.
Hit me up.
How do
Go
you
ahead.
even make that decision? How do
Uh,
you even make that decision?
how do you even get that job? How do you not turn it down?
I think you just I think you happen into that job. You don't just like
Oh,
that's not
actually, I
in the
think I know
job
this one
interview.
actually. I actually know this one because I was teaching a class and it came up in the classroom over here.
How did Robert Frost sum up everything you learned about life?
Uh, I heard him say that. Oh yeah, this is big brain time.
Yes.
Yeah, the famous
I do remember him
words.
saying that.
Yeah.
So that was his summarization, and then he walked over to his deathbed to die, and he was like, "Oh, no, that
Yeah.
wasn't it. Big dick die young is supposed to be what I was gonna and then he died on the way to his bed, and so he
Big
couldn't
dick
change it.
die young? No, no, no. This is what it said. Who is painter Pablo Diego Jose Francisco de Paula Juan Nepomuceno Cipriano de la Santissima Trinidad, better known as. I think I know the real answer to that one. It was in class. I think it is Pablo Picasso. I think it's Picasso. And boom, got it. Yeah, one of my kids told me that he had like a really long name, but everyone only knows him as Pablo Picasso. That's fun. um,
Actually, he just do you
yeah,
know how he got that name?
no.
Because, when he was growing up, his parents didn't teach him how to properly, like, take care of his body and, like, wash himself, and
Okay.
he just he was always itchy, and so eventually they were just like, "Ah, man, Pablo pick ass, come on, just stop it, okay? Just
Oh,
wash yourself." Like,
okay.
and he's like,
Interesting.
"No, no, please, no, it's not my
Interesting.
name, it's not my name."
Interesting. Who invented the electrical bass?
The what?
The electrical bass.
I was gonna say the electoral back evolution.
I made you laugh at the question. I'm taking that point. I made you laugh at the question.
Evolution invented the electrical bass, you imbecile. What is this?
I got the
What do you want me
laugh.
to say? Tesla? Tesla invented the
I
electrical
got the
bass?
laugh, dude.
You
I
just
got the
electrocuted
laugh.
the fish and then put it in
All,
the
all I cared I was getting laugh, dude. I got the laugh. That's all I care about, yo.
I feel
That's all
like
I care about.
I don't wanna say the dumb answer, which is
You already
just
said. You said Nikola
Hendrix
Tesla.
because
You
that's
said
the
Nikola
only
Tesla.
bass
You're
player
good.
that anybody knows.
You said Nikola Tesla. It's done. Skip.
'Cause I
I
know
got.
that
I
there's
got.
a lot of really influential bass players, it's just such a niche category of
Mm,
musicians that, like, I can't even be bothered to know. I'm sorry.
I didn't mean like we had to find out. Oh, I'm sorry. I lost the page. Anyway,
No, I think you're
Good.
supposed to refresh it when you get to the end of it because it's not actually
Is that what it
infinite
is?
scroll.
Okay.
Yeah, it's finite scroll.
Random trivia generator. Go ahead, give me a few more. Play for like 5 more minutes.
Interesting. The South Beach diet is named for a section of what city? The South Beach diet.
Is that
Okay,
this part of the city where Pamela Anderson lives at? Or
absolutely.
yeah,
That's exactly where it's at.
that's exactly where it's at.
But you
South
should have
Beach.
done the Kardashians because it's more relevant now. Pamela
That's
Anderson's
true.
outdated.
Yeah, but I mean,
Sad.
giving something that's like it's too easy to say Kardashians. It's more niche to say Pam Anderson. And if you
Yeah,
know,
but
you know.
it's how you word it though. It's how
It's
you word
true.
it.
It's true. The
It has to be
world
like the
famous
Kardashian vibe way.
bombshell blondie, Pam
No, it's like
Anderson, goat, the goat, the greatest model of
the
our
goat.
generation.
She does look like a goat sometimes, unfortunately.
Ooh, body shaming and face shaming, not a good look. Just like her face.
So you actually just got trapped because you just
Yeah.
shamed goats. Because I just said she looks like a goat. There was no
I
insinuation of
mean,
whether the goat is a good thing
dude,
or a bad thing.
check
But
this out,
being
dude.
that you automatically assumed
Check
that I
this
was
out.
body shaming and
Check
face
this out.
shaming
Check this out.
means that you dislike goats.
Everyone's complaint about American swear language is that they always are insulting people, right? Like bastard is like a illegitimate son, motherfucker means you have sex with your mom. Like they're always like that's a complaint for a lot of people that you're insulting
Yeah,
people
which I
with these
don't get why so
phrases.
many people have an issue with that.
Well, here's the you know what the alternative is? I learned just last week on Thursday and also last night that in Arabic, in order to not be rude to people, instead we use animals in our insult.
Okay?
Yeah. And so like
I can already
Sumaya
see
was
where this is going.
well, I don't even have like a punchline to it to say. I'm just gonna give you 2 examples. First of all, like Sumaya said that she was like, she's like, oh yeah, so it was Farah and Sumaya, and Farah was like, and I don't even know why we make fun of animals because like she's a vegan, right? She loves animals and wants to have animal
Yes.
rights. And then Sumaya was like, yes, but I always say sorry to the animals after I swear. Like Sumaya literally said that. And then like last night, Zay and her friend taught me a word in Farsi, their language, and
Yeah.
they said never repeat it. And I can't pronounce it anyway, so it doesn't matter. But it translates to donkey dick, and it just means if
Donkey.
someone's like saying a bunch of bullshit and they keep saying bullshit, like you just say donkey dick to them. Yeah.
Like
So
that.
now you know. Just say donkey dick, and it means someone's spitting a bunch of bullshit.
So here's the problem. If you teach me an epic expression in
Yeah.
a foreign language,
Yeah.
you can't ever say don't use it. Because the first thing I do when
I
I
know.
go to that country or when I meet someone who speaks that language is I'm going to say that thing.
Yeah. Right. It's like it's
That's
implanted in your brain. It's there.
yeah. It's like that's the reason we have language. But no, seriously though, the etymology of um swear words is extremely interesting. Like,
Mm,
I don't know, just like the fact that they exist and like the fact that it's like I don't know, that we can consider something like language to be vulgar or to be inappropriate. Like it's very, very interesting. It's very, very interesting.
it is. It is interesting. I find it very interesting as well. Yeah.
So like excuse me. I've been watching a lot of British television recently, specifically like a lot of comedy talk shows and stuff.
Okay.
And they are extremely open with their language. Like they can say
Yes.
basically whatever they want.
Mhm.
They can say whatever they want. But they do get like reprimanded for like jokes that they make about people or about situations that are considered to be insensitive or rude.
Hmm.
And it's not because like you said a certain collection of words, it's that like the insinuation of what you said was so rude that they're like, okay, no, shut this down. And
Wow.
like,
Okay.
no, like it happened with Russell Brand on one of the like interview. Like they have this interview, Jimmy Carr. I'm sure you know him.
Oh, I
He
love Jimmy
hosts
Carr.
yeah, he's
I
hilarious.
love
But
Jimmy
he
Carr.
hosts an end of year special, and it's awesome. I watch it all the time. But yeah, I was watching one with Russell Brand on it, and it was like after
Is that
Russell
the show when they have
Brand's
like the whole panel of
all this.
guests? Like there's like 6 guests or whatever on the panel, and like Jimmy Carr's like hosting with like some cards.
Yeah, yeah,
Okay.
exactly. Yeah, which is basically every Jimmy Carr show ever, but it's also yeah the big talk show of 2019 and et cetera, et cetera. But no, Russell Brand was on there, and he made just a joke, and it was just like a really like it was like I mean yeah it was kind of off color, but it was just like in passing.
Mm.
Um, but then like really casually. the camera flips back over to Jimmy, and he's got communication. He's like, um, he's just like, so we, and he just really casually, just like, he doesn't even miss a beat. He's just like, and thanks to the board of, viewing censorship, we've
Mhm.
been suspended for 2 minutes. So here's a note from our sponsors, and then we'll be back with an apology after the break. And it's just like super, super cut and dried, and it's just like, and it's just hilarious because they've been swearing and saying like the F bomb and the MF bomb and the C bomb, and they've just been saying all sorts of like horrendous things, like talking about dicks and talking about vaginas and talking about having sex and anal sex and all this stuff. Like the whole thing is just ridiculous. And then there's just this random joke that he made. I think he made a joke about like religion or something, and it was just like a little
Oh
bit
my
off
gosh.
color. But for whatever reason, they're like, okay, so that's gonna get you a
But
slap on the hand.
you can never tell though with Jimmy Carr if he's joking or being serious. So maybe it was just like maybe he was just doing a joke and that's why he was cutting to commercial break. Think
I
that's
know, I
possible?
thought that, but it was actually confirmed in the comments.
Hmm.
And that was what I immediately thought. I was like, oh, that was a brilliant joke. But there was no laughter. They had silenced the audience. And in the
Wow.
comments they said that they had confirmed that it happens sometimes on British television. Dude, it was just wild
Dude,
though. It's wild because like
man.
it's just, like, yeah, censorship. But not
I'm just
censorship in the way of like, oh, I can't say what I want. Censorship in like the idea
that's
behind
you
it of
crossed the
being that
line.
we have this universal moral code, but not universal, but like for this group of people living in this area, in this society, it's like, okay, we have this moral code that we have agreed to abide by. But it's like nobody really agreed to abide by anything. It's really we just kind of find out what we're comfortable with through trial and error, right? It's
Mm.
like, oh, hey, are you cool if I molest you? No? Okay, awesome. So that's gonna be a
I'm not
crime
gonna
now.
molest you.
Okay,
Yeah.
awesome. Yeah, so that's a crime now. Okay, awesome. Hey, are you okay if I beat you up and steal your money? No, okay, cool. That's a crime now. And it's like, imagine a society where everyone's just cool with anything. And it's like, yeah, nothing's a problem.
There are some hentai like that. Anyway.
Anyways, moving on. So moving into part 2 of the live stream.
But no, dude, actually it's really strange though, isn't it? Like how this stuff becomes so ingrained into your own personal opinions, right?
Mm,
Stuff that's like not expressly said, but it's understood or it's implied that we have a universal agreement on it. Um,
mm,
especially if it's not grounded in anything that's actually genuinely harmful. Okay, so I'll give two examples of this one. One of them is a hilarious story that I'm going to be doing actually a social media post about, and the other one is just like a quick thing in passing, again about Sumaya. Um, my gosh, and Val was there as well. So if Val was hearing this, she'll remember the situation. In that same call, when we were talking about swear words, um, yeah, this is so weird. I don't even know how I had to explain it to you, like to express like the gravity of like what's going on of whatever. It's like we were talking about basically Sumaya refused to say the word for "but" in Arabic. Like, she
but
physically could not say it. Not a swear word, not like ass, like, just the word for "but" in Arabic, and, like, she physically could not make herself say it. Like, she tried for, like, 2 minutes to get it out, and then she, like, just kept, like, laughing awkwardly and saying, "Hey, Farah, no, Farah, you tell him. You tell him, Farah, like, what's the word?" Like, she couldn't make herself say the word "but" in Arabic. And even Farah, who like lives in England and like has been abroad for years and years and years, like even Farah kind of took a few minutes before she actually like said the word. And it's like, what's going on right now? Because like in English, like it's not a problem, right? Like they'll say anything in English, but like for
yeah,
the word "but" in Arabic, like they did not feel comfortable saying the word "but" in Arabic. And like that's just to me like that when I hear that, obviously there's different nuances to that and everything and personal preference, but I feel like a lot of that's also due to society and culture, where like
yeah,
we can all agree there's nothing wrong with the word "but." Sumaya and Farah both say the word "but" or even "ass" like in English, but like in Arabic, nope, we don't say that word for some reason, which I find really wildly interesting and hilarious. Other one is kind of
that
a
is
longer.
super.
Isn't that interesting, EJ? And I
Yeah,
mean, like we do know that language plays a role in that because you and me have both met people who like have different personalities in different languages. Even down to like one of my students, uh, she at academy, she's always super bright. She does K-pop dances all day. She's super laughing. She likes to run around. And then she told me yesterday, she's like, actually, like, "Teacher, actually, I'm only like this at academy, you know?" Like, whenever I'm at public school, like, I don't say anything. And, like, her other classmate in the class was like she's like, "That's true." She's, like, really quiet at school. It's only, like, whenever she's speaking in English and at the academy that she's actually feels free to be vibrant and alive and everything, which is
Sure.
really intriguing. Yeah. Here's the other one. I'll pull it up on the Zoom chat so you can see it for yourself, and I'll put my camera to let other people see as well. Um, this past week, I posted a YouTube short on my page, and it did pretty well comparatively. Put my camera around. Here we go. Yeah, I posted this story, of course, about the dog that broke the television. Right, it was a story from the classroom about this kid, one of my students' friends, and their friend's dog broke their television, and my friend and then my student like ran away from the house. But yeah, it did pretty well. 1.4K views, and so of course with that, of course, it comes along with some comments and stuff like that. So got some comments over here. Okay, dude, I got one of the best comments in my life, right? And just as a real quick note, like for some strange phenomenon, all the years I've been doing content and being on the internet, like I've gotten a shockingly low number of hate comments over the years. Like I can tell you, like
Right.
legitimately, like any hate comment I've gotten, and there's only like been one situation where I got like a legitimate hate comment, and even that one turned out to be a funny situation. So, and this even I don't even know if this counts as like a hate comment, but it's a hilarious comment nonetheless. So the story is about the classroom, right? So I say that I'm a teacher and I got it from the classroom. Here we go. You should be banned from teaching if you have neck tattoos. Dude, I just laughed my ass off. I was laughing so hard. I was like, "That's so funny." So funny.
Michael
Like,
Warily.
it's funny for so many reasons, but, like, first and foremost, like, "Oh, no, I'm a teacher already, and I have a neck tattoo. Oh, no. Oh, I can't be a teacher anymore."
What do
It's
I
like,
do?
"What do I do?" But, and then, of course, like, the comments, the replies that are amazing as well. Someone random person jumped in, new subscriber, they're like, "Bro, you're 11. You have no right to tell teachers what to do with their body," which is quite nice. Another, someone said, "Actually, his tattoo is a sticker. I know that because I am a student." So, my students jumped in to reply to it as well. Quite kind of people stepping in, saying this stuff.
I just yeah. That's like a complete existential crisis.
It gets a bit sad on the next part because, or not it's not surprising whatsoever, but it is a little bit sad or just like, very reflective of society. So I gave back a thoughtful answer because it didn't make me angry or anything at all. I thought it was kind of humorous, to be honest with you, and, but I did give a thoughtful answer back to it because it's, somewhat important. Yeah, the dude goes on to write, like, 3, like, paragraphs of, like, answers back, and I'll put the camera so you guys can see right here. And by the way, no flaming to this guy whatsoever. Like, obviously he's a human. He has his own opinions, and that's great. And it's all so I'm not trying to flame him or make fun of him in any way whatsoever. But yeah, you can see like 3 whole long paragraphs here right, of his reply to my thing. And the thing that was sad about it, whenever I was reading through it, is that basically like he goes on to say that he's 25, he has full arm sleeve tattoos, and his belief is that tattoos have a stigma, and so we need to hide our tattoos and not show them because they have a stigma around people. And at one point, he literally says that we should bend to our jobs and not let our jobs accommodate us at one point. And I was like reading that, it kind of was like, it's like, oh man, like, it was like, that one was like, that's sad to me. Like, that kind of stuff is so sad to me. What's up, Simon? Chihyun is here. He's the one who left the comment. Hey, Chihyun. Chihyun. Sorry, guys, I got to stop for 1 second. Chihyun. We did the last speech in class the other day, and Chihyuk got a 99. So, Chihyun, you're doing the hype boy dance. You're gonna meet us, and you're doing the hype boy dance because you promised, Chihyun. You made a promise, and we got all 99. So, Chihyun, I'll see you at the park later. You're doing the hype boy dance. Sorry, guys, he made a promise in class that if he got a 100 and everybody else got a 99, he would do hype boy dance on YouTube Shorts. And he got very
Right?
scared because slowly everyone was getting 99. And he got 100, and we did the last one last night, and he got with the 99. So his promise is confirmed. But yeah, Val said so sad. Exactly, Val. It's so sad to me. The guys, and of course, you don't know. It could be lies, couldn't be fake. He says he has 2 full arm sleeve tattoos, and yet he feels like he has to hide that. He feels like he's bothering people by having that. He feels like they're negative influence because of that. It's like, dude, like, you're fighting against yourself right now, like, it's so sad to see that, and I know it's common. I know that this is, like, how society works, that people have so much insecurity and self-judgment because of the voices around them, because of culture and everything, but, like, the thing is that we know that, and that's why we don't conform to it anymore. We try to progress stuff because we've been living in regression for so long. We've been living in judgment for so long. It's like we don't want to. That's why you have sleeve tattoos because you want to say something with your art or you appreciate it or whatever your reason is. You shouldn't be hiding it or being ashamed of it. You shouldn't be reinforcing the negative stigma. You should be showing people that there's nothing wrong with it. It doesn't change your DNA. It doesn't change your personality. Like you are who you are, and then your tattoos are just like a reflection of like your personality or your taste or your preferences or whatever. And like it kind of broke my heart to read that kind of stuff because it's like it's one of the biggest reasons why I do what I do is to show people that like yeah, here's a system, but you don't have to exist in that. You don't have to follow this rule. Like, you can just be who you are. Val said, I mean, being older, I know is a big deal, not that long ago, but I feel like that's changed so much. It has, Val, and that was the point is that like even though stuff has changed, it still is changing, and it's so sad to see someone who's in like the tattoo community, judging themselves and like having that insecurity when they're in the culture themselves. Like, hey, take pride in it, man. Like, show off the sleeve
Mhm.
tattoos. You're a great person. Like, you don't gotta hide it.
Yeah, I think it's just, I think it goes against I think it goes against, like, our human ability to process, um, to have so much change in our life. Um, I mean, like, based on his name and based on, kind of his ideas about, like, kind of his wording and his ideas and his spelling, like, I'm not going to assume that he's European. He seems like an American dude living in America, especially with his opinions about doctors and lawyers and stuff and teachers and tattoos. Um, but, like, anyone who's lived in America over the last 20 years has experienced an insane amount of change. Especially because America is such a young country. So, like, I think it feels awkward for people to have so much change because it's not very natural for us to change so much over, if you know what I mean?
Hmm.
Like, it takes years for a tree to go. It's not like the tree just, we plant the seed and then suddenly the tree just grows. Um, it takes a long time. It takes slow. It's a slow process. But we've experienced such a large amount of change in America, even over this last 20 years and also the last 5 years specifically. That I feel like people revert to beliefs that have been around for the better part of their life, beliefs that they grew up around. They revert back to those, even if they don't necessarily agree with those things on a spiritual level or on a personal level. They revert back to those things just because they want any semblance of being able to say, of being able to like know what's going on. Yeah, exactly, Val. It's extremely overwhelming, and that's kind of the thing, right? Is that they want something that has been the same, or they want something that is the same, as it has been. And so sometimes that causes us to create an imaginary affinity for a belief or an idea, or a stigma or a construct that we don't necessarily believe in or agree with. Um, but we do that just because we want some semblance of what we consider to be normal or normality. Uh,
Normalcy. Hmm.
excuse me, yeah, normalcy. So,
Or,
I
or
mean,
or
that
acceptance, I guess, as well, right? Because like having a community that agrees and reinforces your ideas.
Yeah, exactly. Well, I mean, for a lot of people though, like they've already committed themselves to the idea that there is no community for them, or their community can only exist within the bounds that they believe that it can exist. Um, and they've already committed themselves to that. And so, yeah, that's why it's not always helpful for them to meet people from outside of their circle because it just further cements their ideas for whatever reason. So, like, a great example would be like this guy in the YouTube comments, he might be so overwhelmed just by the changing housing market over the last 5 years that has just completely tapped out all of his, mental and emotional energy just trying to pay rent that he can't even deal with all of the social changes that have happened, the positive social changes. And so, whenever he sees someone like you, Ben, who's making a lot of ripples, in the online community for the kind of lifestyle that you represent and the kind of, activities you take part in, stuff like that, it's like there's no more space in his brain to be like, "This guy has a positive impact on my life as well." He just groups you in with all of the other negative change that has so negatively impacted his life over the last, X amount of years. Excuse me.
Yeah, could be, man, could be, and I think the thank you for that, by the way. That means a lot to me. Thank you for that. I think also as well, the kind of way I take it is like the astounding lack of trust that we have in ourselves as a global population. And so many of us limit ourselves simply through our mentality about things. Like, yes, and by the way, just as a disclaimer, like, yes, there are massive amounts of discrimination and bias and prejudice that exist in the world on every level. Secondarily, when you're putting that stuff on yourself, you're limiting yourself even further, right? Like even further. So when you see the world and you've been raised with that idea of like, if you have visible tattoos, you can't be a doctor, a lawyer, a teacher. And then you're telling yourself as well, like, oh, then I'm not even gonna try. I'm not even gonna try to get anything more than what I have now. I'm not even gonna try to do anything different than I have now. I have to be content with this lifestyle because of my choices about my tattoos, and it's become a limitation. So if I'm stuck, everyone else should be stuck as well. And then someone comes along and they're like, actually, no. Yeah, you're right. 90% of jobs gonna say no because of your visible tattoos. But if one job says yes, or if one person says yes, or if one organization says yes, that's all it takes is just that one yes. Right.
Mm,
And so yeah, I think that we have to be really that's what is so disappointing to me. It's like, yeah, you're right. There's an astounding train of thought that says that you can't wear hats are unprofessional, that tattoos are unprofessional. That's the overwhelming majority of opinion for a lot of people. But it's not true for every person. It's not true in every situation. And as long as there's that small sliver of a chance there's something different, then let's go for that small sliver of a chance. Let's make that chance become a bigger and bigger gap. Because the thing to me, fundamentally to debase those beliefs, is that fundamentally wearing a hat does not change anything about your abilities or your DNA or your skills.
mm.
Fundamentally, having a tattoo or a piercing does not change your DNA, your blood type, your mentality, anything. That is just a concept, and it's not founded in reality. It's founded on negative bias and on what do you call that when you're reinforcing ideas with information that supports your idea. So like
Right.
yeah, having more self belief is such a big thing because if you're telling yourself you're shit, then you're gonna feel like shit and just keep doing to other people. And like, no, yeah, the world's overwhelmingly difficult. Don't be on the team against yourself. Be on your own team, you know?
Well, I mean, like, especially because we've already recognized that even though we want to believe that enforcing dress code,
Yep.
excuse me, enforcing dress code or enforcing um, body type or enforcing any kind of discriminatory, uh, you know, kind of like requirements for employment in any given field. Although we'd like to believe that that increases the level of accountability because that's what initially people believed, that is not what has happened. And that's not what we've seen.
Okay.
I mean, a great example is like the Roman Catholic Church. Like they have a huge like their dress code is extremely strict for popes. The popes aren't allowed to show up in sweatpants, and
But we wish
they're
they
not allowed
could.
to show up in sweatpants. And they're
Mm,
still abusing their power in all sorts of ways, both financially and sexually. So like and doctors, like, there's been several instances where doctors, excuse me, whether because they were just bad people, they abused their practice, or because they were not really doctors, they abused their practice. Like, no system is perfect. We're not going to have a perfect system where, like, oh, just because I force you to shave your beard and put on your suit every day to come teach these kids, you're never going to abuse your position. It's like that literally does not even mean anything. Like, that's not how you enforce systems of accountability. There's other more realistic ways of doing that. So, yeah, but that's rough. That
Yeah,
is
it's
rough.
it just shows like how much yeah, I don't know. I think it's just like it's well, I guess I'll say it's actually hopeful, right? Because even though there's still people who live in that mentality and people who still spread that sort of ideology, at the same time, like in my own replies, there are people jumping in and saying like, don't tell him what to do, or he can do what he wants to,
Yeah.
or whatever. So it's like it's both sides. It's both sides of it. It's like there's people who are still stuck in that mentality, but it's great to see those people also like rising up against it, and challenging that idea. Just a real quick little what do you call that? Anecdotal note. I did end up showing most of my classes that comic because I thought it was so funny. I wanted to see what they would say to it as well. And yeah, I showed it to nearly all of them. I think there's only one or two classes I didn't show it to. And yeah, we all had a good laugh at it. They all thought it was quite humorous as well. Um, I think I'm gonna make a guess here. I don't know how many students I have nowadays, but I'll kind of sandbag it. I'll say about 80. Yeah, out of 80 students, 78 kids agree with me. They said that's bullshit. They said no way, that's not true at all. Two of the kids did agree that there should be no neck tattoos for teachers. There were two kids out of 80 that agreed. But yeah, overwhelming majority, 78 kids out of 80 said yeah, definitely not. And there's even one. It was adorable yesterday. There was one little kid, like maybe 11 or something, and like he actually got like he got pressed over it. He was sitting there. He's like, and I was like, are you okay? And he's like, Benji teacher's good. That's that comment. He's like, I was like, oh my god. I
Angry
was like,
about
it's
it.
okay. I was like, it's fine.
He's
He's
angry
like,
about it.
there's good teachers. You can't say
What
that.
was
And I was
the
like, it's
what was
fine.
what were the age
Yeah.
difference between the kids that said that
Said,
that shit? Were they younger or were they older?
those kids are about 13 or 14 years old. 13 or 14 years old. Yeah. And they're great kids. One of them is really very responsible. He's a cool kid. He was in like a short movie class of mine, and he actually asked specifically to be transferred into my class a long time ago. And he's been in my class ever since then for like close to a year now. And he's really cool. He's like the class president at his school and everything, and very responsible, very intelligent person. And even for him, like even whenever he said that, he's like, but teacher, he's like, it's your choice, your freedom. You can do whatever you want to. He said, just in my opinion, just my thinking, I feel like it's not appropriate. So yeah, even the way he delivers it's very, eloquent and very
Yeah.
polite and everything. So yeah.
Yeah, I had I used to have a student that was like that. She was class president at her school and
Hmm,
extremely
hmm,
responsible, and everybody being
hmm.
like, "Yes, I'm gonna," she's always like, taking care of everybody. And every time I would ask them like opinions on stuff, she would always like state that her opinion was like contrary to whatever my behavior was. Of like,
Was she doing it like in a malicious way or just like kind of like in a follow the rules Nancy type way?
yeah, she's a very like by the book,
Stickler.
but
Yeah, yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
like
Stickler for the
very, very
rules.
by the book.
Yeah,
And so she always
yeah.
just wanted to make sure that like I knew that she like understood the rules and I definitely
Uh-huh.
was not abiding by them. You gotta love it.
Oh man, that's so funny, man. So funny. I love it. It doesn't really. I mean, as I think as big brothers and as teachers and experience, like you kind of can look at that stuff and kind of where it's rooted in. It's like you're trying to get the best outcome. You're trying to make sure your life is okay and everything. So of course, if someone says like follow the rules, everything's gonna be fine, and of course you'll be thinking that way. Obviously, when you get with experience and you kind of learn that rules are oftentimes outdated placeholders used
Yeah.
for control. You kind of like, oh, okay, so the rules actually aren't as important as I used to think they were. If I follow them, I'm not going to get the result I wanted. You can kind of grow out of the idea. But down here, Val said something interesting. She said, makes me think of someone's post on Instagram. A follower using a dating app wasn't getting any connections until he changed his name from Talib to Tyler.
Yeah.
Phew, dude, that's real. That's real.
I thought that story was gonna end a lot differently. It's like wasn't getting any connections until he changed his profile from heterosexual to curious.
Oh man. I'd be interested to hear more about that, Val. Like, I honestly want to know more about the bias and stuff that happens like on dating apps because they're not a fun place to be. They're not a fun place to
You
be.
ever
Dating apps
scroll
aren't.
through Tinder subreddit?
No, I never do.
You need to spend some time there, dude. You
I
need to
don't
spend some
want to.
time
I've
there.
spent enough time on Tinder already. It's not a good place to be.
You need to share some of your experiences, dude. That place is
I will.
incredible.
I will actually. I'll make videos about it because there's been some wild stories, man. I'll just share 'em right now because I can make it into a video later. There was one person who matched me on Tinder, and oh fuck, I'm gonna forget his name. Who was that guy in Korea that would make videos about life in Korea? He had brown hair. He was like a wannabe K-pop star kind of guy, and he would always do like vlogs about life in Korea.
I don't literally anybody. Literally any English teacher who's ever been to Korea, ever.
No, no, no. There was this one dude like who wasn't even a teacher, but he's like a full-time content creator, and he loved what was his name, Matt or something. Like had it was like his name was like Matt or something. He was one of the well-known ones who like people would know. There was obviously like the what the Jungkook Namja, and then there was this other guy as well, but I forgot his name, Matt or something like that.
They were all pretty much connected to
I can't remember who it was. Me running the Tinder subreddit. Anyway, there's a notable content creator in Korea. I don't know if he's notable now, but he was before. And I had someone match with me on Tinder, and like their first comment to me was, "I'm sorry, are you, are you making content about life in Korea under the name Matt blah blah like the guy's name?" And I was like, "Oh, I immediately who they were talking about." I was like, "What the fuck? No, that's not me." And they're like, "Oh, sorry, you just look kind of similar to him." And like they unmatched like hours later.
just trying to get the clout, dude. Clout sex.
I guess so. There was a huge fan. I guess that was pretty funny. Another one that was wild was someone matched with me and they messaged me in Korean. So I translate what they said in Korean, and they were like, the message said something along the lines of, "You look exactly like a Sims character I created 3 years ago." And I was like, "Okay." I was like, "Do you have a picture of them?" And they're like, "No, but like, dude, it's weird. You look just like the Sims character I made 3 years ago." And I was like, "This is so interesting."
Niche pickup lines. Niche
I
pickup lines.
I think she was dead ass serious. I don't even know how that would be a pickup line, but like, I took
You
screenshots.
look
I'll send it to you
just
later.
like a little D&D character that I printed out on my 3D printer and painted. Like, "Oh, okay."
Okay,
Yeah, she was the
cool.
whore of the group. We always used to, like, pass around the different characters and we'd have sex with her. I mean, in D&D, of course, so, like, we're just talking, like, nobody, like it was
Ooh.
consensual for your character, but
For your
it's
character,
like,
but like,
okay. Would you be down to, like, hang
no,
out?
are you
No,
are you into like are you into
I
like
don't think
consent
so.
and stuff like that? Yeah, obviously. Okay,
Yeah,
cool, cool.
y alright, cool, yeah, I like consent too, that's great.
You're like, I didn't give you consent to do anything just now. No, no, of course not, not yet.
No, like,
Not,
that wasn't what I was trying to no, no, hey, don't get
I
me
mean, not
wrong,
yet anyway.
dude, imagine if Tinder was just like, automatic voice like, to match with someone, you have to have, like, a FaceTime call.
They have that feature on there, but you can only do it like once you've talked a little bit, and you can unlock up the video chat feature.
Right,
But it's like
right.
no one's doing that on Tinder. It's creepy as
Nobody's
hell.
gonna
It's
do that
like
on Tinder. No one's gonna do that on
it's
Tinder.
creepy.
Um, no, I saw a hilarious video yesterday that reminded me of just basically, like, 98% of what comes across, like, any random one of my social media streams. It was, it said "average guy on Tinder," and it showed a dude, and he's like and it just suddenly, like, the video just starts, and he's like, "How dare you, man? That is just so wrong of you to disrespect women. I'm so sick of women not getting the respect they deserve." And he turns the camera, he's like, "What, bro, are you recording again? Stop it. I don't want anyone to see this. I'm really angry."
Oh,
And, like, that the video ended. And then in his, like, caption, he goes, "Too bad I'm only 6'3" dot, 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 dot. And it was like average Tinder guy on Tinder. And I was like, yeah. Because I love it, 'cause it's so sage. He's like, "Man, I'm so sick of women not getting the respect they deserve." Wait, bro,
deserve.
you recorded, stop
Recording,
recording. I don't want
stop
anyone to
recording.
see this.
Someone post it. Yeah, right.
Love it.
Only 6'3". Yeah, man, the fake kindness content on social media is out of control. There's a I love a dude though, this guy named Scumbag Dad who I mentioned before, and like he
Yes.
loves to he'll just like rip the hell out of those people by making like parodies of it all. It's the
Yeah.
best thing
No,
ever to
honestly,
watch.
if I could invent an AI that would remove kindness content from social media altogether, I would push
Mm,
that button all day long. I would just sit there and just push the button.
you should, man. It's annoying as hell. Oh my gosh, dude, this was actually really fun. Thanks for making a jump on and do a
Was
stream,
a lot
even
of
though
fun,
it
dude.
yeah,
Yeah.
even though it got messed up and everything. Like, thanks for like being flexible and flowing with it. So,
No,
and
absolutely.
also,
Yeah.
you did give EJ is the one who even told me to be live streaming on YouTube, so he gets all the credit for this one as well.
Yeah.
Val, thanks for joining also, and to everybody who was watching tonight. This was a really, really fun time, and definitely be doing it again. I'll be streaming again later with my cousin. We're gonna be doing a game eventually, and I'll be inviting more and more guests to jump on and do stuff like this as well. So if you guys want to be on
Figure out the
live
streaming
stream with me, then
platform and
hit
how
me
to
up on yeah. I was trying to figure out how to do it with Zoom, but if anybody wants to join a game and play with me on live stream, then hit me up on Instagram DMs or shoot me an email, and I'll get back to you and see if we can organize something. See you on the next stream. Everybody have a great night. Bye.